much attracted me to the organization was the fact that there was 8 years of experience doing this very important work that Achieving the Dream does with all of you. So as the CTO, I have the challenge of taking an organization that has existed really for 8 years in a different form, but an organization that, again, from a technology perspective as a CTO, hasn't gone through what in the technical world we call a technology refresh. If Achieving the Dream had been a company, it's likely that 3 or 4 years ago we would have went through the first refresh, and I'd be standing here today telling you about the things we were going to do for our second refresh. But I joined Achieving the Dream, and there hasn't been a refresh in a very long time, which actually is a challenge, but it's also a terrific opportunity for me to be able to very quickly help the organization move forward with technology. So my job description says that I'm here to infuse technology into everything that we do. And the first thing that we need to do is put technology into our own work, in our own office, in our own systems, our own processes, so that we can provide much better support to all of you. So as I started to think about this presentation and how I'd put it together, I am a technology person, which means I'm not particularly creative. And as a not particularly creative person, the metaphor I had in my head was a road, and that I would take you on a journey from where we are today to where we're headed in the distance. So as I put the presentation together, I came up with a road. So there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and take you through this presentation to give you a sense of what we've already done and the things that are coming. And I'm really excited about the things that are coming and sharing them with you. This won't be a long presentation, just want to give you a sense of things and then open it up for questions that you may have. So the new Achieving the Dream, continuing the journey, the 8 years of work, now almost 9, that has been underway. First thing that we did was put up a new website, and hopefully all of you have had an opportunity to interact with the website. So we have a new website that has 3 main areas: a spotlight section where we can put up videos and pictures to be able to show the great things that our colleges are doing. We have a section of featured items where we can highlight certain news pieces that are generally news pieces that come from all of you that we want to really feature and make sure that the people who are coming to the Achieving the Dream website have an opportunity to view. And then finally, the third section is the latest news. So we encourage you to come to the website frequently. It's much different than the old website, and the content changes very frequently, and we hope that you will come and take a look. If you are looking for things that are more about the resources and the things that you need to do your work, we have, of course, a regular menu bar across the top. But if you have trouble finding things, we put what they call an Uber footer. It's a really technical term here, which has everything broken out so that you can very easily see where you need to navigate to. So at the top of the page, we have things to help you navigate, but we also have that Uber footer at the bottom. So take advantage of that if you're having trouble finding anything. So the very first thing that I can say I'm very proud of as an organization that we launched was the new website. And I have to give a lot of kudos to my colleague Lauren Lewis, who is the master of all the content that's there. So if you see Lauren around, please make sure to congratulate her on the great work she did on this website. Now, as we move forward and continue down the road, the next thing that will be coming is a new member portal. So those of you that have been with the Achieving the Dream and been in the network for some time would be aware that we have a member portal. I would guess if I looked for a show of hands into how many have logged into that regularly in the past, it's fairly infrequent. And that's because it really was something that was a little bit difficult to use and made it kind of hard for you to do your work. So my job is to make it really easy for you to do what you need to do. And so the new member portal will make that possible. So I'm going to take you through a little bit of what's in that new member portal, or what will be in that new member portal. We just started the development of it actually last week. And it basically is going to take you through as you go through your journey with us. So starting from the point where a new college applies, the application process, to the readiness assessment that comes as part of that, all the way through to submission of your annual reports, so that that is all guided by the site. So you don't have to think about when the different deadlines are, what kinds of documents need to be submitted, what do you need to do. You can come to this site and it sort of takes you through the timeline of here's where you are and here's what you need to do next to continue in your work with achieving the dream. So the application and the readiness assessment coming in initially, and then moving over into the first year work, that very important first year, your implementation proposal, all the planning documents that you submit to us as we go through that process of interacting with you and thinking about the work that you're proposing to do. And then as we move into the second year and beyond, the annual report. And we'll be putting a lot of energy into this piece because there's a lot that you submit to us that's critically important. You have all the narrative work that you submit to us, you submit data to us, and we're looking at new ways to really think about how to best use that and how to make that information very valuable in the work that you're doing and for us to give you feedback through this process. So that's the new member portal that will be, we'll just say right now, coming soon. The next piece that we'll be working on that we really haven't yet started, but it is planned for starting up in the next month, is a new online community. So I worked at American University for 4 years. I taught in the Kogod School of Business, and I taught about social networking, a la Facebook. But one of the things that I focused on very heavily was this idea of an online community and people collaborating. And all of you know there are lots of different online communities that are out there. And what we hope to do is provide a place where you can come to interact with colleagues that are doing work that's similar to yours. So I just provided a few examples here in these little spinny wheels. Right? So if we look at one of them, so if you're working on a student success course, many of you use that as an intervention that you put in place. So if you'd like to learn from others who've already done it, you want to share curricula, you want to talk about your experiences, you can do that through this member community. So you can also do it around, for example, placement exams and sort of how you handle the cutoff scores and things like that. You can make comments and exchange those ideas. So again, you benefit from each other's work. So one of the things that we haven't been able to do as well as we would like at this point is make all of this valuable information that you all have from all the great work that you've been doing available to everybody in this room. One of the benefits of being in this network is being able to be part of that community. You can see different comments that you could make in these different areas. So community of learners is another area where people are doing some common things and would benefit from being able to share with each other. So the last piece on this journey, and there will be more, and next year I'll come and show you another journey that we'll go on as we continue this process. But the last piece for this presentation is around promising practices. Right? So it's related to the previous one, right? In that we were talking about how you can collaborate and share ideas. Right, but this one is about really finding a way to articulate very clearly the successes that we're having and to make those successes available not only to this network, but to others that are outside of the network that would really benefit from understanding what promising practices are working and what sort of work are we doing that will allow really all community colleges and maybe even arguably some of the 4 years to move forward in this space and to really promote this idea of a movement and trying to get our ideas out to a very broad audience. So the Promising Practices Repository is represented a little bit today through the Knowledge Center that we have on the website in a very rudimentary way, but we will be adding to that and enhancing it, making it searchable and all sorts of things that you will really easily be able to understand the work that others are doing and be able to read case studies and things that are related to that work. So I'm calling that the Promising Practices Repository. Then as we conclude our journey, for this first piece at least, the place that I need your help is in 2 areas. Right? So the first thing that I ask for is that you get engaged and involved and you bring all this enthusiasm that I see in this conference to help us do this really well. Because my job is to make sure that when we bring these systems online and we make them available to you, they do what you need, right, as much as they do what we need, right, and then you help us do that. The second thing I'll ask, again, as a technology person, is that you're patient with us. We all know technology. You know, we've got I used to work at Oracle Corporation, and there was always the alpha release and then the beta release and then version 1. And there's a saying out there that says never buy any software until it's at version 3, right? So we're going to be going through an alpha beta process, and so I ask your patience as we stumble sometimes, because I'm sure we will. But I know that all of you will enthusiastically support us and help us make whatever we do even better. So I thank you for your time today. Appreciate you giving me some time at lunch, and I'll open it up for questions that you might have. There are 2 microphones. Thank you. So there are microphones scattered across here. And I asked them to not turn up the lights too loud, too much, so I don't have to do this kind of thing, you know. Some questions. There must be some burning technology questions, and you don't have to ask just about what I've presented. I'm happy to answer any questions that relate to infusing technology into everything we do. So feel free to ask anything you like. Not a one? Don't be shy. Yeah, yay, thank you. I was going to say I did such a great job, I answered all your questions, right? Yeah.
So what are your plans to make the website mobile ready for our phones?
Terrific. What are our plans to make the website mobile ready? So there are some basics that we can do, so that if you are familiar with a way that mobile technology works, that most websites will have a m dot something, right? So m.achievingthedream.org means it's the mobile version of the website. It has been designed to work in a mobile fashion. And that's the first thing that we'll do, is just make it so that when you go to the website and you're using a mobile device, you will get the mobile version. You're probably most familiar with that with things like Southwest Airlines, where you go to check in, you don't see the normal Southwest Airlines page, you see a page that's been made specifically for mobile devices. The second thing that we'll be doing is with all of these community aspects, of course, we will be adding in lots of elements for you to be able to communicate using your mobile device. You know, a la similar to Facebook status updates or Twitter, which we're featuring heavily at the conference. So lots to come on the mobile front, so I appreciate that question. Let's actually go to this one, yep.
My name is Jackie Gascon from Houston Community College. I would like for you to elaborate a little more into the integration with Facebook that you were mentioned to.
Great, terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic, thank you. I'm happy to say that as of this conference, we have launched both of our social media channels, as they call it. So before joining, the most immediate organization I worked with before joining Achieving the Dream was Deloitte Consulting. And my role at Deloitte was to help Deloitte build a social media practice. And quite frankly, that was a very difficult thing to do, because you're going into an organization who's using free tools like Facebook and Twitter and saying, we're going to charge you $500 an hour to help you put together your social media strategy. As you can imagine, it was a bit of a non-starter. But joining Achieving the Dream, of course, the first thing I did, even before I interviewed, was I looked at the website, and I was frankly a bit horrified. Right? And then I looked for a Twitter stream, and there wasn't one. And I looked for a Facebook page, and there wasn't one. And I had 2 thoughts, right? I thought, oh my goodness, this organization is a little behind the times, so I don't want to join. But then my further thought was, this organization is a little behind the times, so I want to join, right? So that I can really help in these areas. So we were very carefully and strategically waiting to get into the Facebook and Twitter sort of fray, because as you can imagine, it takes some time, right? It takes resources to keep those channels really active and to get them engaged. So we launched our Facebook page along with our student video campaign, which all of you are aware of since you've been watching the videos in your room or out here. And we already have, Katie, how many fans? Over 1,200 fans on the Facebook page. So if you haven't, come and fan us. And we're going to use the Facebook channel for all of our work with students. So all my students that are over there that are tweeting, right? Yes, they're going to be Facebook fans. right? And all of our contests and promotions and things we'll do through Facebook. On Twitter, we actually literally just started using it this week. So it's Achieve the Dream is our Twitter handle or username. I actually have a colleague, Trish, who's working with the students who is tweeting as Achieve the Dream right now. And that will be our channel for more sort of business kinds of communications, what I mean more professional communications. So Facebook is for our interaction with students, and the Twitter is for our interaction with sort of really everybody else. So you'll see lots more coming as we really think that strategy all the way through and bring the resources to bear to make those very active. But go ahead and follow us, Achieve the Dream, and make sure that we are following all of you for your college Twitter account so we can have a really robust Twitter feed. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Mercy Yanes from Los Angeles Harbor College. Can you expand on how students will help with the development of the web page, and if you will have them assist you?
That's a great question. Thank you. So our website, again, the audience for that, like the Twitter feed, is more the professional audience, right? Our partners, our funders, all of you coming for resources. Facebook, though, is a place where kind of all bets are off, right? We can really get creative. And the current thought is actually to ask some students to sort of be ambassadors for our Facebook page and to keep the content there very vibrant and to get others on their college sort of networked into the things that are happening there. So we plan to have a really robust student dialogue along with all the things that you would imagine, photos and videos and art and everything that students do on that Facebook page. So that will become our sort of student website. So great question. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Chris Johnson from Renton Technical College in Washington State, and the communities idea is great. I'm looking forward to that. Will there also be the capability to share not just ideas, but actual tools and perhaps software?
Did you say your name was John?
Chris.
Chris, great. Thank you, Chris. So that is a fantastic idea, and actually, so Rhonda Glover, my colleague who has been the interim National Director for Data Coaching, and I were actually just this morning talking about that, which is how can we share not only, as you said, the ideas, but the good stuff that you guys have created, right? So you've created templates, you've created tools, you've created processes, and we will absolutely do that. I still have to think about exactly how we do that, but we will. And those are the sorts of ideas like Chris's. Keep them coming, right? You know, make sure that you get my email address. I welcome your ideas. I'm still very new to Achieving the Dream. I'm coming at this from an information systems perspective, right? I know what needs to be done in terms of the systems, but I don't know what needs to be done in terms of best supporting your work. So make sure that I know, and we will do it, or we'll do our best to do it.
Hi, I'm Sue from Asheville, North Carolina, AB Tech. You mentioned videos. The keynote speaker last night, I would love to have that as a tool for our students and faculty. Do you know if that will be posted somewhere?
Yeah, so I believe that was recorded. Katie, do you know? Was the video recorded from last night? The student speaker? Yeah. Right. Great, terrific. So all the plenaries are being videotaped, and they will be made available. We're just not exactly sure about the timing, but as soon as they are available, we will make sure that you get notice. And we would love for you to use them and also to tweet about them and Facebook about them and let everybody else know about them. So thank you for that. Please.
Hi, Nicole. I'm Rebecca Hartzler from the Carnegie Foundation, and I was wondering with the networking piece, with the good ideas that people will be posting, and then also with the repository, are you planning some sort of a rating system that would let us know who's tried it and how well it has worked?
That is, so thank you, Rebecca. That is a great concept, and we are still in the early stages of the work on that system, so I will make sure that gets incorporated in. We did have some early thoughts about, you know, like you do on, you know, many of these different sites, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, or giving it a star system like with the Netflix tapes that the audio, or the Netflix movies that you watch. So that's a great concept to make sure that we really build that in, because I think that is a way for us to identify sort of the best stuff and let the community help us figure out what some of the best stuff is from the perspective of the community. So thank you for that, Rebecca. Other questions? Terrific. Well, again, thank you for letting me interrupt your lunch, and I look forward to seeing all of you throughout the rest of the conference.